Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Toku Toy Theory, where I take a look at toys from various tokusatsu series and try to figure out why they look and act the way they do. In this episode, I'll be looking at Kamen Gaim's Super Form and Final Form, Kachidoki arms and Kiwami arms, respectively. I'm going to be doing these two in the same video, as they do have some intrinsic ties to one another. So, let's begin. So, for Kachidoki, because similar to the Jinba arms, the changes to the base suit aren't made until Gaim transforms into that form, I'll start by looking at the Kachidoki lock seed and Kachidoki armor part. So for these two, once again, they're based on orange, but since the name Kachidoki isn't the name of the fruit and instead is a term that roughly means battle cry, it's impossible to tell what kind of orange they're based on. But design-wise, you can definitely see that they are souped up from the previous lock seeds and armor parts. For the Kachidoki lock seed, it has a bigger and bulkier design that's a lot more square than round, with an orange that looks like it's bolted on there, and the only lock seed to have the designation of KLS, in this case KLX01. You'll also notice it has this port on the side, which will come into play later. As for the armor part, this one has also got a more complex design than previous lock seeds, as well as having the most complex transformation. It has a couple of flags attached on the front, and is very much kind of, like I said, encapsulated, meaning it doesn't just drop onto the rider and transform. It certainly has an interesting feel to it. So for the Kachidoki lock seed, when suited on, you'll get a battle cry, along with some disc scratching sounds, which will come into play later. And there we have the transformation sound for Kachidoki arms. And here we have Kamen Gaim Kachidoki arms, where he's now gained a new set of full body armor. Starting off with the helmet, you can see that the crest has now gained a pair of branch-like antlers. It also has some swooping side pieces, and a piece in the middle that resembles a mustache, as well as a golden jawline. This goes along with some face guards worn by samurai that were designed like that to intimidate their enemies, and the mustache was usually used as a depiction, a kind of representation of some kind of ancestral spirit. Then you can see the back of the helmet here, which has a lot of bolts in it. That is a motif you'll see all along it, to help give it that orange-like texture, but also make it seem like this armor is all bolted together. See that for the chest plate, it now has Gaim's symbol on it. Gains new gauntlets, as well as this very protective skirt armor here, or waist armor. Then he has these flags on the back, which each have his symbol on them. And all this together basically kind of shows that he's gone from a samurai to a daimyo, which was a feudal lord who ruled over one of the different areas of Japan during the Sengoku period. He's also equipped with a weapon called the Hinawa Daidai Dijeiju. And here we have the Hinawa Daidai Dijeiju, whose name basically translates to Matchlock Great Orange DJ Gun. And this is based on a matchlock rifle, which was a firearm that rose to prominence in Japan during the Sengoku period and was a personal favorite of the daimyo Nobunaga Oda, who used them heavily in his armies. Looking at its design, you can also see and Orange integrated into it as a turntable, and that's where we get the DJ part, which does require a little bit of contextualization since the Kachidoki lock seed was created and given to Gaim by a character named DJ Sagara, so he did give it a bit of a DJ twist. The interesting thing about this weapon is that the whole DJ aspect actually influences the functionality. Also, and it can have basic shots, but then it can have specialized shots using the turntable here, as well as this knob, which has 3 settings: low, medium, and high, which is actually a tempo module, or a tempo knob. So, in the low setting, it now changes to have a cannon functionality. For the medium setting, now changes to a matchlock shot. And on the high setting, it changes to a machine gun function. Of course, as you can see by the bay here, it's also compatible with lock seeds. For Kachidoki arms, primarily uses the Kachidoki lock seed. What's more is that similar to the Daidai Maru, this is also combined with the Muso Saber. And that's done by swinging down this handle here, actually inserting the blade of the Muso Saber into the barrel of the Hinawa Daidai DJ. And this creates the Taiken, or Greatsword mode. So in this mode, it gains a lot of strength compared to the regular Muso Saber, and can still be used with the Kachidoki lock seed. Next, we have the Kiwami lock seed. This is Kamen Rider Gaim's final lock seed, as well as a very special and unique one. As you can see, it's labeled as LS Infinity, and instead of depicting 1 fruit, depicts 7, the fruits for Kamen Rider Gaim's first 4 forms, as well as the first lock seeds for Kamen Rider Baron, Ryugen, and Zangetsu. And what also makes this unique is that, though it is a lock seed, instead is meant to function as a key. Instead of saying Kiwami, it actually says fruit basket. So for this, a special adapter is required for the Sengoku driver that replaces the faceplate. And with this, it allows you to take the key part of the Kiwami lock seed and insert it into the port on the side of the Kachidoki lock seed on the belt. and this unlocks it. Then we have the transformation into Kiwami arms. As you can see, with the two unlocked, the belt changes quite a bit. You now see fruit slices for all of the main lock seeds of the various riders, as well as two parts here, which look like a pair of faceplates. One depicting the face of Kachidoki arms, and one depicting the face of Kiwami arms, which is meant to show the transformation from one form into the next. What's also unique about this is that with this, Gaim gains power of all the other fruits, all the other arms, so he can summon any of their weapons. And this doesn't just apply to the arms weapons either. He can also use it to summon the lock seed compatible weapons. And here we have Kamen Gaim's final form, Kiwami arms. As you can see, this one doesn't have an armor part like the others. Instead, the entire body is changed into this silver armor. You can see that with the new helmet, it has this raised point, and the crest now gains a circle around it to depict his symbol. Now has this flowing red cape as well as a chest plate depicting various fruits. See that he also now has two lock seed holders, since on one side he carries the lock seeds for his first three forms, and on the other he uses the lock seeds that he used to obtain the Jinba forms. And there is some actual contextual and cultural significance to this form, as in the show, he obtained this form at a point in the series where the remaining riders, or most of them at least, decided to stop fighting and band together against the greater enemy. And as indicated by the transformation call, with his form he changes from a daimyo into a shogun. And what's significant about that is that the Sengoku period ended when a new shogun rose to power, and the whole country of Japan united once again. And that shogun was Ieyasu Tokugawa. And there is something to that, as from what I could tell by my research, Kachidoki arms was most likely based on the armor that Tokugawa wore during his time as daimyo. And while this is not quite the armor that he wore as a shogun, this is similar to the armor of other shoguns, though it's most likely actually based on a daimyo named Kenshin Uesugi, who was shown to have had a silver armor like this with the pointed helmet. But regardless, that is quite something that basically you just have this significance to all the fruits coming together into a kind of fruit basket, which mirrors the riders coming together in unity, and creating this new leader in the form of the Shogun Gaim Kiwami arms. In addition to being able to summon all of the arms weapons, Kiwami arms can also make use of the full power of the Hinawa Daidai Dijeiju, as it can make use of both lock seeds and energy lock seeds for the special attacks. you can use their powers in both of the modes. And there we go. So overall, with Kachidoki and Kiwami arms, you get something really incredible here because you get some really strong thematic elements, as well as some ties to real-world history. And when you look at Kamen Gaim's form progression, you can see that it's basically him rising in the ranks from low-class samurai to high-class samurai to daimyo, eventually to shogun. And when that happens, you get something incredible because the way that happens in the show mimics Japanese history and mimics the Sengoku era with how it ended with Ieyasu Tokugawa's rise to power as the last shogun of Japan. And that kind of thought and effort, and the fact that their armors are actually based on the armors of real-world daimyo and shogun and whatnot, really shows how much thought and effort was put into putting this all together and creating this show. And it shows that, while the show is made to sell toys and whatnot, they also do really think about what they're doing and try to make it all make sense, and here they really did do that. Because you've got all these different, warriors from different cultures, and while that is kind of, goes a little bit beyond just the Sengoku period, and, beyond just the Warring Sisters of Japan, thematically within the show, you still have this reflection of the Sengoku period, where it did start out with everyone against each other, but then it got to the point where everybody just decided to come together, and Kiwami Arms reflects that in that it is a joining of all of the different fruits together in one fruit basket, just like all of the riders come together in unity. And with that, he also becomes their leader. And that kind of thematic element, or just storytelling, is something I find incredible. And while this is not the last Gaim-themed Toku Toy Theory video, this is the last one that pertains to the main series itself. And so on the whole, it is very much incredible how they just really did look into all these different cultures and create these different armors and weapons, and combined these two seemingly odd elements together in ways that make sense. So on the whole, this is just something that is outstanding and that I have to really give the designers praise for. So, next time, I'll be reviewing the deluxe Gao line from Gokaiger. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and or subscribe, and you can check me out on Facebook at facebook.com/KRX50. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.